Today, get your magnifying glasses ready. Rocket League and Magic the Gathering Arena are coming to mobile. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where I've finally figured out how to get into the hidden Undercrypt.
In Skyrim? Zelda?
In my house. If you have a torch and the pendant and whispered incantations under a full moon, the secret passage opens.
In your house?
Yeah, it was full of skulls.
And now it's...
Probably going to be a beer cellar. I'm trying not to renovate it so it doesn't get added to the livable square footage for tax purposes.
Smart.
Huh.
Rumors have been swirling around the toilet bowl of video games journalism regarding Nintendo's mid-series refresh of the Switch, since everyone has clearly become fatigued with talking about other consoles they're unable to get. Given the world at large's clear thirst for a new Nintendo Switch, other companies have decided to stop sitting around waiting for something to happen and to just do it themselves. Tencent has patented designs for their own Nintendo Switch, but this one appears to run Windows 10, which is weird because I don't think I've ever seen Windows on my actual Switch, but maybe Nintendo's menu is just obscuring the Epic Game Store or something. And not to be outdone, Qualcomm is also working on their own Nintendo Switch. That's just a real Switch running Android and not whatever Qualcomm has in mind, but their device is supposed to run Android, so you'll be able to play all the greatest free-to-plays the Google Play Store has to offer. Despite being made by Qualcomm, they're not adding 5G to it because I think they're aiming for at least a few hours of battery life. Hopefully all of these companies releasing Nintendo Switches will put some pressure on Nintendo to eventually release a Nintendo Switch of their own someday. God knows the market clearly needs it.
Magic the Gathering Arena is seeing its full mobile release today, with iOS devices joining Android, which had it during early access. And yesterday, Rocket League developer Psyonix announced that a version of their car-based football game would similarly be coming to iOS and Android. It may seem like a weird time to focus on mobile games, what with most people still working from home, folks would rather just play on their PC or home console. But as the pandemic drags on, it's certainly becoming more attractive to take a break from big happy screen or medium-sized work screen to spend some time under a blanket curled up with small screen. And now you'll stay extra warm once your blanket gets lit on fire by the small screen trying to run Magic Arena or Rocket League.
Gamestop has announced that Reggie Fils-aime will be leaving their board of directors in June, alongside 7 other people who have also never been in my bathroom. Reggie joined GameStop's board in March 2020, putting his tenure at 16 months. So I guess all that work on the nominating and corporate governance committee must be done. GameStop's really governance the hell out of all that corporate then? Makes sense he wants to leave, though. Reggie originally tweeted, "The gaming industry needs a healthy and vibrant GameStop. I look forward to being a part of GameStop's corporate board and helping to make this happen." And boy howdy has he delivered. GameStop is looking healthy as shit. The board of directors only has 3 people left on it, which is a little short staff, but that's nothing new for GameStop. Hey, I know you just got off shift, but can you be on the board of directors tonight for a few hours? Come on, if you can't cover, then we can't protect shareholder assets and ensure the highest amount of return on investments. Yeah, I'll leave you the key so you can lock up, but you gotta bring it to my house later so I can open tomorrow.
Oh, getting some deep flashbacks from that. Hey, let's read some patch notes. Valheim edition. Patch 0.148.6 is on the way, and my only feedback so far is that they could use a sexier patch name. But let's hear about what they are fixing and or ruining in with all the localization updates and improved network stuff. One of the biggest changes is that campfires are nerfed, same with hearths and bonfires. Don't worry, they'll still warm your weary bones and roast your lutefisk. I don't know, I don't actually play the game, but they will now take damage whenever they deal damage, meaning you can't just surround a Grey Dwarf spawn point with them and farm for supplies, which is a thing that people were doing. Storage is being expanded by increasing chests from 18 to 24 slots, and more storage is always a good thing in games like this, especially for players who've been using campfires to farm Grey Dwarves for lutefisk. Again, I don't actually know. Going forward, Harpoon will not work on bosses, but night spawning wolves will be easier to tame. so I assume that's basically a wash. You'll get knocked back less if you're wearing heavy armor, but there's now a slight delay on using the hammer, cultivator, or hoe, so this all seems balanced. And for those who want to take the game even further beyond without feeling actively shamed about it, the console syntax to enable developer commands has been changed to dev commands from I'm a cheater. Maybe I can use these commands to finally increase the drop rate for loot fisk.
The Sega Astrocity Mini is coming to the West, or at least to markets where they use English language packaging. Remember this cute thing? It's a handheld gaming console shaped like a Japanese game center cabinet, packed with 36 of Sega's finest arcade games and Radmobile, completely untranslated, so you can enjoy the sensation of cutting class in the 90s and trying not to get caught by the truant officers while you question your budding attraction to a mute Ojo-sama who continually kicks your ass at Vampire Hunter. So if you're nostalgic for a time and a place that you've never lived, you can easily pick up your own Astrocity Mini thanks to Limited Run Games. They've got 3,500 of these to sell, and it will be available on Friday, March 26th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern and ending probably within 12 minutes. I'm telling you this not because I think you'll be able to get one, but because I know I won't be able to either.
Epic Games, makers of crossover cameo competition and base building simulator Fortnite, sent an email to some of their players gauging interest for potential future characters to debut whenever the Hell Portal collapses. Basically just a list of game characters and a checkbox for I like or am at least aware of this character. An Epic Games representative confirmed that they do surveys like this all the time, but this is in no way an indication of what they may or may not add to the game or when. Good thing too, considering the list, because it seems impossibly all over the place. Mega Man, Spider-Man, Batman, Joker from Persona, Joker from Batman, odd ones like Sans from Undertale, and extremely long shots like Bowser and Toad from Mario Brothers, but only Bowser and Toad. Even some Resident Evil characters like series mainstay Jill Valentine, or yet to even be released villain Lady Dimitrescu, or Resident Evil 7 and 8 protagonist Ethan Winters. Ethan Winters? He's a cipher. He's the main character in a fully first-person game. I don't even know what he looks like. I don't care about the rest of this list. This is the story now. I've played all of RE7, and you don't see the guy's face. Look, I've asked Paul. Check it out. Here he is. He looks like... Is that seriously what he looks like? He looks like he's mad that you're asking him to stay late and fix an IT problem. Imagine spending your V-Bucks so that your Fortnite character can look like a guy. I bet a sizable majority of our viewers are even learning his full name is Ethan Winters as of this story. And our viewers play video games. We don't even want him in Resident Evil 8. Why would we want him in Fortnite?
Wait, so the guy whose name I've already forgot from 7, who got his hand cut off by a creepy Bayou family, is now back in 8 with the big vampires? Why?
I don't know, man. Everyone else in Resident Evil has some messed up sense of duty around fighting bioweapon mutations, but if I was Ethan Winters, I'd be taking my generic-ass white guy face and staying as far away from anything creepier than a Care Bear for the rest of my life.
Maybe he did, and the rest of life is just very short.
Oh, probably.
Coming up, in anticipation of the release of Monster Hunter Rise, a Japanese VR company just gave everyone the day off? Boy, sure wish I worked in a place where employees just play video games all the time. 6 stories this week, a little different.
Was it?
Yeah, I did 3, you did 3.
Cool.
I wrote 2 at the last minute. You guys, can you write some extra stories, Beach? Are you going to write a second story? I'm like, oh, Christ, I don't know.
Well, because you'd written 1 and I wrote 3, and so I just assumed that it would alternate.
Yeah.
And then Paul was like, was Beej meant to read this story? And I was like, no, he can, but
Yeah.
Beej, were you going to write another story? And you were like, trying. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, well, let me know.
Running around
and then
in
suddenly
my head.
just boom, 2 stories.
Yeah. It's like the Astrocity Mini one. I was like, I did want to write about that because we did talk about it before. And frankly, I just want to point out to everybody that there's no way anybody, any of us, any of this audience, or anybody that you even know, so at least 3 degrees of separation, I'm sure, we'll even end up with one of these in the first place, because that's how limited run games tends to work.
It's right there in their name.
Yeah, you won't get this. Heather has tried so many times to get limited edition games through any of these services, and it always blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, that's just how it works now, right? That's something, because you know what else there is? No limit on how many you can buy.
Well, that seems like a grave mistake.
It seems a little weird to me too.
I guess limited run doesn't really care.
No,
They're
like as long as they sell, that's
3,500.
fine. We know that we have distributors out there. I'd maybe be able to go to Epic down the street and pick up like one, because they maybe buy 10. I don't know. Like maybe it doesn't have to be my problem. You can also get like a little thing that goes on the bottom, so it's not just a handheld thing. It's got like a base, so you can put it on something, and it stands up like an actual arcade cabinet. So it's the base of the arcade cabinet, and it has an arcade seat, so you can kind of have it just like
you
a little.
You can put your action figures in front of it.
Yes. And you can buy a gamepad to plug into the back, so you can play 2-player games with somebody else. So you can play the little thing, and they can play with the gamepad. Or I think you can both just have a gamepad and play with a gamepad.
That would be better, because otherwise, whoever has to use the actual like on-device controls is definitely at a disadvantage.
And the guy, you have to peek over your shoulder while you're trying to play it. It's like, no, that's not fun for anybody.
No.
It's got HDMI out. If you didn't know that from the first story, I just assuming you did. But
really?
Yeah. So it just literally sits on your.
So does the Playdate.
Yeah. Oh Christ! I couldn't believe that. With the
that was amazing. The Playdate, if you're not familiar, the little
Panic made.
Yeah, it's a, I don't know, it's a tiny little like bespoke black and white console for, I don't know, for fun and nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got HDMI out. It's with like no latency seemingly.
Yeah. Or I think it's literally it's a USB cable. And it uses an app, much like the 3DS capture things kind of do. But this is actually just built in. You just plug in your USB cable to charge it. But if you plug it into a system and turn on the app, it's like, oh, I can actually just get your screen. Yeah.
And they're like, it's great for YouTubers or streamers. It's nice to be remembered.
No kidding, right?
When you've got like Paul playing Death Stranding, contending with Kojima's like, oh, you're going to listen to this copyrighted song. It's cranked up. You have no control over how loud it's going to be, and we're going to claim that later when you upload it.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
this is the way now that you're not going to stream our shit. We're just going to load with copyrighted music. I just realized it's so goddamn insidious. I can't believe it, but that's
most games are nice enough to have like a streamer mode. Like even Cyberpunk had a streamer mode.
Yeah,
that. There was one or two songs that slipped by initially, so maybe not the greatest thing, but yeah. Hey, correctly navigating the Digital Millennium Copyright Act is punk. It's about the most punk thing that game did, but here we are.